Hi, welcome to IAS Factor by LearnStroke, and you're watching the current affairs class for 2020 for UPSC. We are discussing the most important topics that can come for the exam, and today's session will be a general GS paper where all the topics are covered. And all the topics, as you can see, are sourced from the Hindu, the Indian Express, and the Press Information Bureau. And if you are wanting to keep your speed and time manage, and you can definitely play this video in 1.5x, so it will be easy for you. If it does not work, play it normally. Okay, and in the meanwhile, do subscribe to our channel IAS Factor by LearnStroke, and from the Play Store, download LearnStroke IAS app to watch the classes, and get in touch with me. Check all the details here, and let's quickly go on and find out what are the important topics that we have to learn today. The first issue is Kerala's case on net borrowing, because there is a case between Kerala and the Supreme Court which says it has capped Kerala's borrowing limit. And what you mean by the proprietary food and food business operators, or FBO, and what is IREDA, Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency Limited, what you should know, some details about that, and what are imported coal based power plants, and what is TDB, the Technology Development Board, what is the function of that, and know about the lithium ion batteries, and know about the heat waves, and what is National Mineral Development Corporation, or the NMDC, and know about 125 years of Kodaikanal Solar Observatory, the KSO, and what is visible emission line coronagraph, something from Science and Technology, and know about the Paradip Port and the Paradip Port Authority, or the PPA. Port is one of the most important areas, favorite areas of UPSC. They ask it many times. And what is ISET, Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technology? Very important from India US perspective. And what is immigration clearance required, or ECR countries? What is this ECR? This is in the news. And finally, at the end, we are also discussing the map. We'll discuss few important maps so that you get an idea on that. So let's go on important to the first important topic here. Kerala's suit, or Kerala's case on the net borrowing cap. So this is a tussle between, you can see Kerala on the other side, one side, and you can see on the other side you have the central government. And you know that Kerala is definitely facing a financial crisis where it's struggling to give, or make the payments. So can Kerala borrow? Can Kerala borrow from other parts, other institution? Is there something called as a ceiling or a cap which determines that only this much amount can be borrowed? Can central government fix an amount or a ceiling like this? So these are the important things that we have to understand in this. So let's quickly understand. Definitely Kerala is facing a financial crisis, which is very evident, and several factors like restrictions on borrowing imposed by the central government. So this has affected the fiscal autonomy and the ability to manage state finances effectively. So central government has put a ceiling. The state has argued that these restrictions are causing severe financial strain, and the government is finding it very difficult to fund essential services and pay government salaries, etc. All these things are getting affected, and the central government believes that these claim made by the Kerala regarding the fiscal mismanagement by Kerala government, suggesting that the state has been using borrowed funds for ongoing expenses rather than investing in profitable venture. So this is what central government says about Kerala. Kerala is not utilizing this amount or this money for profitable ventures. They are just using it to do the ongoing expenses. So that is why there is a financial strain happening. So this is center stand. Kerala, the Supreme Court referred Kerala's question on whether a state has an enforceable right to raise its borrowing limits from the union government and other sources to a constitutional bench. So is there a borrowing limit? Can they borrow above that? Is something that we have to understand here. So the Supreme Court also referred the matter to a 5-judge bench, which was made to address important question of law, including the aspects of fiscal decentralization. So this brings us the fiscal decentralization and challenging the federal principles. So do you think, is it a violation of federal principles, or is it a violation of fiscal federalism? Center and state coming here again. So in this context, let's understand that Kerala has filed a suit against union government for arbitrarily limiting its borrowing capacity, leading to financial. So it has arbitrarily limited the borrowing capacity. From this point onwards, you cannot borrow. Central government has fixed it for Kerala government. So the state argued that the borrowing limit should be determined by the state themselves. It is not the center, but definitely understand there is a constitutional provision for that. The court refused to issue a judicial order directing the union government to lift the net borrowing ceiling. And the Kerala government is looking at a borrowing of 26,226 crores. So more than 26,000 crores is the limit which they're looking at. But central government has said that we are ready to give you 13,600 crores to Kerala to solve the immediate problem. They need 26 crores, 26,000 crores. Kerala central is promised only 13,000. So the key question is, you cannot arbitrarily limit the borrowing capacity. So what are the important constitutional angles regarding this? Let's understand this. So the Kerala filed a suit against the central under Article 131 of the Indian Constitution. So this you need to know what is Article 131 of the Indian Constitution. And also you can see Kerala's unique financial, it argued that if a state exceeds its borrowing limit in 1 year, there may be reduced borrowing limits in the following years. Definitely. So there is already a borrowing limit, and if they have exceeded the borrowing limit, the next year it is going to be the reduced borrowing limit. So we have to discuss about Article 131 of the Indian Constitution and Article 293 of the Indian Constitution. So what is all this article provision? We have to immediately. Article 131 gives Supreme Court. Supreme Court is the jurisdiction. You can see Supreme Court is the jurisdiction over disputes between center and states, while 293 deals with state borrowing and union regulation. So 293 deals with the state. See, such articles in the current affairs can also be asked as a question in the match the following, etc., where you need to have a very good idea on that. So let's understand what is Article 131. Supreme Court has the jurisdiction over dispute. So let's see what is, let's take a look at Article 131. So it says that you can understand the Supreme Court shall have original jurisdiction between Government of India and one or more states, okay, between the Government of India and any state or states on one side and one or more other states on the other. So Government of India, one state and the other state. So between the state, multi-states and the government, between two or more states, and if in so far the dispute involving any question of which the existence or extent of legal right depends. So between two or more states. This is Article 131. And please understand, the jurisdiction shall not extend to a dispute arising out of a treaty, agreement, covenant, engagement, or similar instrument which have been entered or executed before the commencement of the Constitution. So before the commencing of the Constitution, if there is an agreement, treaty, covenant, or anything, then Supreme Court will not have the jurisdiction on that. Or else Supreme Court has this jurisdiction between Government of India, one state, two states, one state with another state. So this is Article 131. Remember this. And Article 293 is also very relevant. It also discusses about the powers of state and the borrowing limit that we can have. So a lot of clauses. I'm just basically quickly going. The executive power of a state extends to borrowing within the country of India. Okay, you can borrow within the country under the security of the consolidated fund of the state within such limits, if any, as may from time to time be fixed by the legislature. So you can actually borrow within the state, within the country, territory of India, with the security of consolidated fund. The Government of India may, subject to such condition, lay down under article, make loans to state, or as long as any limit fixed under Article 292 are not exceeded. So it also talks about the aspects, and take a look at the third provision. A state may not, without the consent of the Government of India, raise any loan if there is still outstanding in any part of loan which has been made to the state by the Government of India or by its predecessor government. So definitely, even if any state cannot, without the consent of the Government of India, you cannot raise a loan If there is already a loan in the place, if there is already a loan like this, imagine that there is already a loan. Imagine there is already a loan. With this loan, without the consent of the union government, you cannot borrow anything. So this is 293 regarding the state and the regulation of the union. So this is in short between the ideas. So the union government emphasized the importance of public finance managing for India's credit rating, and Nirmala Sitharaman clarified in Parliament that there were no plans to relax borrowing rules for the state government of Kerala in 24. So please understand. So this is the ceiling limit and the important article provisions that you have to understand in this regard. So let's quickly move on to the other important articles, like what do you mean by proprietary food and food business operators? So what do you mean by proprietary food and food business operator? So let's quickly understand what do you mean by that. So let's understand what do you mean by proprietary food. So it refers to a food product, number one, which is manufactured, okay, and sold by a specific company. Okay, a company called X can actually manufacture and sell a specific product which owns the formula or design. Very, very important point. So these are not standard food. This is not like the standard food, but are instant. It has got unique formulations or combinations that do not have history of human consumption. So please understand, the company should own the formula or the design. It should be their own product and not a copy of the other product. According to the Food Safety and Standard Authority of India, the FSSAI, proprietary foods must be made from ingredients or additives that are recognized as safe and permitted for use in food products. Okay, so let's take an example. In regulatory terms, proprietary foods are often distinguished from traditional foods by their unique composition and the fact that their standards are not defined under any existing food security regulation. So proprietary foods that is not defined under any existing food regulatory, so it has got, the proprietary foods have got unique composition which has got the formula. The company has got the formula. Manufacture of such foods must ensure that they must meet general safety requirements and are responsible for the safety of the food that they produce. So definitely manufacturer has that regulatory board. I'll give an example. You must have seen about this thing called Ensure, which is a nutritional shake. So an example of a proprietary food product is Ensure, a brand of nutritional shake and drinks. Ensure products are specifically designed to provide balanced nutrition, various health needs, often as, it's actually used as a supplement of meal replacement and aid in weight gain, muscle recovery, or general health maintenance. So Ensure is a proprietary, product. Why? Because each formulation, such as Ensure Plus or Ensure High Protein, has a combination of nutrients aimed at supporting the specific dietary needs. These products are considered proprietary because their specific formulations are developed by Abbott Laboratories. The owning company are not standard items typically found in dietary regime. So it is not something that you usually find in the dietary regime. It is specifically created with its own formula by a particular laboratory. So this is an example of a proprietary food item. So definitely this is in the news. And let's see what are FBO. FBO or food business operators. One, they can be individuals. Number two, they can be companies who are responsible for ensuring that standards set by food safety regulations are met with their businesses. So this means food production, processing, distribution, and storage and sale at all levels of production. FBOs are companies or individuals who are responsible for keeping up the standards set by the food regulations within their business. So they can include a wide range of business, such as FBOs can be restaurants, cafeterias, food processing companies, caterers, retailers who handle food products. So they are responsible for the standards of the food regulation. So the role of the FBO is very critical in the food supply chain, as they must ensure that all food handled or produced under the oversight complies with local, national, and international food safety and hygiene regulation. So it is the duty of the FBO, plays a very important role in the food supply chain. And it also includes, FBOs should also make sure that there is cleanliness, proper food handling procedures, and proper food safety practices are done. So in many jurisdictions, FBOs are required to obtain a license from a food safety authority like FSSAI, and their operations are subject to regular inspection, etc. So this is a regulatory body or a group which makes sure that there is a particular standard in the production of food items. So FSSA has instructed e-commerce food business operators to correctly categorize food items sold on their platforms. So this is the reason the current affairs news has issued notices. FSSA has issued notices on proprietary food which are being sold under misleading categories such as health drink or energy drink on e-commerce website. So what is the standard? Let's understand. So let's quickly understand what is the important. FSSA clarified that health drink is not defined or standardized under the FSS Act. So health drink is not standardized. Proprietary food are items of food that do not adhere to standardization and food safety. You know that proprietary foods are not adhering to the standardization of the FSSI. So this corrective action aimed to ensure clarity and transparency, and definitely that is the reason why I have discussed proprietary foods and FBO. Okay, so please understand this concept. And moving on to the next important topic is, what is IREDA, or Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency Limited? So such questions can be asked in the UPSC prelims exam when they can ask about a regulatory body. So let's take about IREDA, which is actually in the news. So IREDA, Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency, is a prominent public sector enterprise. So this is a PSU number 1. It is operating under Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, MNRE. So please understand, IREDA comes under New and Renewable Energy Limited. It's a mini Ratna category 1 company and serves as a non-banking financial institution. This is an NBFI. So Indian Renewable Energy Development Agency Limited, it's the largest pure play green financing NBFC in the country. Please remember, it is a green financing NBFC. So what does it do? It promote, develop, and extend financial supports for projects related to renewable source of energy and energy efficiency. So just like green energy, it is a NBFI or an NBFC. So it's a mini Ratna company. 1987 is the year. So know about this, especially they can ask you, it comes under which ministry? Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. Please remember this thing. And moving on, it has played crucial role in supporting the growth of renewable energy in India. So IREDA plays a big role in that. It has funded solar, wind, hydro, and other sustainable technologies. IREDA funds that. So definitely it is actually aligned with India's commitment to clean and sustainable energy also. So please remember, IREDA plays a very crucial role in all of this. And in recent developments, IREDA has achieved significant growth in the financial performance. 23-24, the agency recorded an impressive increase in its loan sanctions and disbursement, contributing to significant growth in the loan book. So it has started giving a lot of loans and sanctions and disbursement. So that means more green things are going to happen. So this shows India's renewable energy capacity and the effective financial management practice. IREDA is part of all this. So let's understand what are some of the important. It gives solar funding, solar energy, wind energy, installation of wind and biomass energy, or convert agriculture waste and other forms of biomass into energy, and small hydroelectric projects and energy efficiency projects like industrial, commercial, residential sectors, everything. So IREDA actually can fund all these things. So please remember different areas that it can actually help in. So that was regarding the IREDA. Now let's discuss what are imported coal-based power plants. You know the normal coal power plants, which are very important. The picture that you can see the normal power plants, but what is imported coal-based power plants? Let's have an understanding very quickly on that. So imported coal-based power plants are electricity generation facilities that rely on coal. Definitely for creating electricity, coal power plants are important. You need coal for that. But in this, you can take a look at this. The coal in this imported thing are sourced from other countries for their fuel needs. So in this case, the power plant for electricity generation, coal is imported. Coal is coming from other countries, and these plants are built in regions or countries where domestic coal is not available. That is why imported coal-based power plant. Or Sometimes the coal is not available, and sometimes it is not available in quantity, or sometimes you can even see that the quality is even a problem. The quality of the coal is also a big problem. So imported coal, what is the advantage? Has higher energy content. Very important. It has got higher energy content, imported coal, and lower pollutant levels such as sulfur and ash compared to domestic coals. So there is a lower level of pollutant, means sulfur and ash is very low compared with the normal domestic coal. This can lead to more efficient power generation with less environmental impact. So this is the reason why imported coal based power plants are in discussion. They're very effective than the normal. So countries with limited or unreliable domestic coal production might choose to import coal to ensure a steady supply of fuel for their power plants. Sometime, even if a country has substantial domestic coal reserve, see, imagine that if a country has coal reserve, economic factors such as lower cost of imported coal due to market conditions or trade agreements can make imports more viable. So sometimes, even if you have a desired amount of coal within the country, even you can actually get imported coal because it has got its own advantages. So that is, so imported coal-based power plants operate similar to the coal-fired power plants, but they face additional challenges like logistics, higher fuel costs due to transportation, dependency on international market fluctuations and policies. So this is something negative also. Apart from the other plants, it can have logistical issues, transportation or higher fuel cost, and you have to depend on the international market. That is very, very, you have to be dependent on international market and the prices because you're importing it actually. So this is generally about the concept of the imported coal based power plants. And now let's look at TDB. This appears in the news sometimes. You can even see the Technology Development Board, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. You can see this picture carefully. So what is the function and why is this agency important? Such things can be. So please understand the TDB, the Technology Development Board, is a statutory body. Very important. This is a statutory body and it functions under the Department of Science and Technology. So S&D, Science and Technology under the Government of India, established by the Technology Development Board Act of 1995. That is why it's called a statutory body created by an act like Technology Development Board or TDB Act 1995. It came into being. So what is the main purpose of this? One, development and commercial application of indigenous technology. You need to, having an indigenous technology is really good and you need to develop that. And also, so one is indigenous technology. Definitely one is the indigenous technology. And on the other side, you have imported technology. How to handle the imported technology is also the next important thing. So how is the imported technology handled? That is first. So first is indigenous and the second is handling of imported technology. So TDB plays a crucial role in bridging the gap between research and market by supporting technology driven projects through financial assistance. So definitely TDB also offers funding. TDB can also offer funding, which is also very important. So it various funding support, like it can provide equity, soft loans, grants to industrial and R&D institutions. So the ultimate aim is to encourage private sector investment in research and innovation. So let's see, TDB can invest in this. So TDB provides loans which carry a simple interest rates of 5% per annum, and these loans are normally limited to up to 50% of the approved cost. So it can even subscribe, it can even take equity in industrial concern. They can actually buy a share in this also. So definitely you can get the equity, particularly the commencement like the startup and the growth stages, which not exceeding 25% of the project cost. They can even take this also. So TDB can work in all these aspects. So TDB emphasizing creating jobs, encouraging industries to enter high risk technology areas, fostering firm linkages, and they are also proactive in handling project proposals of unique evaluation procedures. So please understand TDB is very important for fostering science and technology, especially investment is also given. So please remember all those points. And the next important content is lithium ion batteries. What are lithium ion batteries? What are some of the advantages? What are some of the disadvantages? We have to find out all this in this. Let's quickly understand. The lithium ion batteries, or Lion, are a cornerstone of modern portable and renewable energy technologies, powering everything from like smartphones to electric vehicles or EV. So Lion batteries function by the movement of lithium ions from anode to cathode. This is from anode to cathode during discharge and back when charging. So a Lion battery, we need to understand what is the anode and what is the cathode. And the Lion batteries, very important point, are favored for their high energy density. Such points can be asked in the prelims examination. Which are the following features of Lion batteries? They have high energy density and no memory effect. What is this point called? No memory effect, meaning they don't lose maximum charge capacity over time. So very, very important. Please remember, they do not lose maximum charge capacity over time. So there is no memory effect and minimum charge loss when that which is not in use. So all this high energy density, no memory effect and minimum charge loss, all these are advantages of Lion batteries. Now let's find out. So now recent researchers have shown that longevity of Lion batteries, which is includes, so research focus on how to enhance the longevity of Lion batteries. So one development is, please remember, one important development is non-flammable electrolytes. What do you mean by non-flammable electrolytes? Because this can reduce fire risk and using advanced material to increase battery life and efficiency. So having a non-flammable electrolytes can reduce fire risk and increase battery life and efficiency. And innovations also aim at reducing the formation of dendrites. So what is the formation of dendrites? Like tree-like branches, you can just see the tree-like branches can even be formed that can cause short circuits and battery failures. So in this circuit, in the system, you can see that when there is a dendrite formation, it can create short circuit. So please remember that also. So how does this operate? It the movement of lithium ions between the cathode and the anode during charge and discharge cycle, cathode to anode. When charging, lithium ions move from the cathode to the anode and are stored in the anode. So lithium ions move from the cathode to the anode where they are stored in the anode. During discharge, the ions move back to the cathode, releasing electrical energy. So once it's from cathode to anode, and then anode, you can say that it moves back to the cathode, releasing electrical energy. So this is Lion battery. So let's understand what is the cathode in this. So what is determines the battery voltage and capacity. It includes lithium iron phosphate, lithium manganese oxide, and lithium cobalt oxide. So this is the cathode. What about the anode? Typically made from graphite, the anode stores the lithium ions when the battery is charged. So this is where it is stored. And the electrolyte, a lithium salt in an organic solvent. The electrolyte facilitates the flow of lithium ions between the cathode and the anode. So definitely there is cathode, anode. The electrolyte plays a very important role. It facilitates the flow of lithium ions. So that is the function of electrolyte. It facilitates the flow of lithium ions between cathode and anode. And there is also a separator, a porous membrane that keeps the cathode and anode apart to prevent electrical shorts while ion transfer. So this is a separator which prevent electrical shorts. So let's take a close look at the previous pictures also. So in this picture, when we started off, you can understand what is the cathode. That is the cathode, and there is the anode, and the one side you can see the cathode and the anode, and there is an electrolyte. Definitely we discussed the electrolyte, what are the components, and a separator, and definitely a separator. So please take a look at this is how this works out. So please remember what happens when the electrolyte, it's where the flow of ions happens. Cathode, anode, electrolyte, please remember the separator, all this detail. What are some of the important advantages? High energy density. Lion batteries can store a lot of power relative to the weight and size, making them ideal for portable electronics and electric vehicles. So definitely the high energy density is created the portability factor for that. That is the reason why it's ideal for portability, because it can carry a lot of power with they're relative to the weight and size. No memory effect, we have discussed it. They don't require full discharge before recharging, and they don't suffer from memory effect unlike other rechargeable batteries. So no memory effect. Low self discharge. These batteries lose their charge very slowly when not in use. It does not lose out the charge. And what are some of the challenges? Safety concerns. Lion batteries can pose fire risk. That is why non-flammable electrolyte we discussed, if damaged or improperly handled. And lifetime. The performance of lion batteries degrades over time with usage. Much research is focusing on that. The environmental impact. The production and disposal of lion batteries lays environmental concerns, leading to the recycling and the development of sustainable, removing of this. So environmental impact. So all these are some of the challenges. So that is all about lion date sales. And let's move on immediately to the concept of heat wave. What are heat waves? Let's quickly understand. So heat wave. Recently we see that a lot of people are suffering. We are actually witnessing heat wave. It's a prolonged period of excessively hot weather. That is the point. It's a prolonged period of excessively hot weather which may be accompanied by high humidity. Please remember these points. It's excessive hot weather, high humidity, especially in the oceanic climate countries, very important, which is actually influenced under the ocean. Heat waves are common in the oceanic climate countries. High, excessive hot weather, high humidity. So heat waves are considered extreme weather events that pose significant health risks such as heat exhaustion, heat stroke, or even death, especially among the vulnerable populations like elderly, the very young, and those with chronic conditions. So please remember the points. So heat wave can last up to 2 or more days of usually very hot weather. And you can take a look at this. The specific temperature criteria of, what people can ask, what is the temperature of a heat wave? So you can always understand the heat wave's temperature can vary from local climatology. See, imagine temperature that might be considered normal in one region might constitute a heat wave. See, imagine, just take an example. If 41 degrees is heat wave in country called A, but this temperature in a country called B is not characterized as a heat wave because it differs locally. It is very different. That is why it is based on local climatology. So the discomfort during heat wave is compounded by high humidity. Is very, very important thing that you have to remember about heat wave, which impedes the effective cooling of the body through evaporation of sweat. So humidity and sweat rate, please have an idea on that. So heat waves can occur due to a combination of atmospheric condition often involving high pressure system. Please remember important point. So heat waves, there is a prevalence of high pressure system that stalls over an area. So having a high pressure is a characteristics. So these high pressure systems force the air downward. So high pressure system, you can see that high pressure system, this force the air downward, warming it by compression and inhibit cloud formation, resulting in clear skies and more sunlight. Factors such as dry soils, human induced heat from urban areas can intensify heat wave. So please understand, the high pressure systems force the air downwards. It forces the air downwards, warming by compression. Warming by compression, and it does not form cloud formation. So that is why there is no clouds, you have clear skies and more sunlight. So heat waves, high humidity, and the high pressure, downward air movement, warming by compression. Please remember all these points. So heat waves can lead to serious health issues like dehydration, heat stroke, and the risk of mortality and morbidity increases. So extended periods of high temperatures can stress plants and animals, leading to changes in species composition. So it even affects the temperatures, even affects the plants and animals also. Heat can damage infrastructure such as roads, where expansion due to heat can cause buckling and other things. So even railways and infrastructure expansion of, when heat is so much, it can expand. Basic thing. So the productivity can decline in weather sensitive industries such as agriculture, construction, tourism. So during the heat wave, even the industry suffers. You need to create more cooling centers, heat health warning stations, and implementing green roofs increasing tree cover, and using lighter color building materials to reduce urban heat island effects. So definitely you should find out what you mean by urban heat island effect. So these are some of the important aspects of the heat waves and the mitigation of heat waves. And moving on to the next important point is the NMDC, or National Mineral Development Corporation. Or what is NMDC? Let's understand what is NMDC. So again, NMDC is a National Mineral Development Corporation. Is again a state-controlled mineral producer under the administrative control of the Ministry of Steel of the government. So please understand, it is a state-controlled mineral producer under the control of Ministry of Steel. Ministry of Steel. And please understand, it is the largest iron ore producer and exporter, playing a pivotal role in iron ore export. So it is the largest iron ore producer and exporter. Please remember. So this is something that you have to remember. So founded in 1958, the NMDC is instrumental in exploration and mining of a wide range of minerals such as iron ore, copper, rock phosphate, limestone, dolomite, gypsum, bentonite, magnesite, diamond, tin, tungsten, graphite. So NMDC is concerned with all this. It's under the Ministry of Steel. Such questions can be even asked as a statement. NMDC is the largest iron ore producer and exporter, and it is actually functioning under Ministry of Steel. Exactly correct statements. It is located in Hyderabad in India. It operates primarily within the mineral-rich regions of Chhattisgarh and Karnataka. So, NMDC is engaged in mining of various minerals. Like company operates large mechanized iron ores in Chhattisgarh and Karnataka, and it operates the only mechanized diamond mine in Asia at Panna in Madhya Pradesh. Please remember, this is an important point. The only mechanized diamond mine is in Panna, is in Madhya Pradesh, and it's operated by NMDC. So NMDC has been expanding its footprint in other strategic and critical minerals like lithium. Apart from this, it is also considering lithium, which is very important for the electric vehicle market or the EV market. So NMDC, you can see what is NMDC. It's a mineral development corporation, largest iron ore, and now it is even venturing into lithium. So besides domestic mining, NMDC is involved in international ventures like countries in Australia through its subsidiary Legacy Iron Ore in Perth. Legacy, it is even operating in Australia. The company's profitability has also on the rise, net income reaching significant due to operational efficiency. So the company's profitability has recently increased. So NMDC, please know about what you mean by NMDC. And now let's quickly move on to the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory, celebrating 125 years. This is known as the KSO. It was started in the British time. What is the KSO? Know in detail what is the KSO. So the Indian Institute of Astrophysics, IIA, celebrated the 125th anniversary of KSO on 2024. The history of KSO honors its scientist, and it's established on April 1, 1899 by the British. KSO boasts one of the world's longest continuous daily records of the sun. Very important. It still has the longest continuous daily records of the sun. So that is one important feature of the KSO. And the observatory's digital repository, just imagine 1.2 lakh digitized solar images and thousands of other images of the sun recorded since early 20th century. So this is indeed a big repository. Means 1.2 lakh digitized solar images over from the 20th century. That is a huge collection. And the Kodaikanal Solar Observatory continues to contribute to the scientific research, which one such projects. What is visible emission line coronagraph? This is on board the Aditya L1 satellite and the proposed National Large Solar Telescope in Ladakh. So what is visible line emission line coronagraph? Let's find out. This is another important topic. What is VELC, or visible emission line coronagraph? Such questions can be even asked in the science and technology from prelims perspective. So a Welk is a type of, it's a scientific instrument, number one, used in solar observation. Number two, its main function is to study the solar corona. Number three, the outer atmosphere of the sun. So what is corona? Corona is the outermost atmosphere of the sun, which is visible during a solar eclipse. So one, scientific instrument, solar observation, study corona during solar eclipse. So the coronagraph artificially blocks the bright light from the sun's surface, allowing the much fainter corona to be observed and studied under normal sky conditions. So it blocks the bright light from the sun's surface, the Welk or the visible emission line coronagraph. So the modern coronagraph, like those used in space-based telescope, often incorporate advanced imaging technology. So it provides insight into mechanism of solar activities and the impact on space weather. It can affect satellite operations, telecommunication, power grids on Earth. It helps understanding atmosphere and other astronomical phenomena by solar observation. So everything relating, these are some of the important advantages of Welk. And now let's move on to the another important topic, the Paradeep Port or the PPA, the Paradeep Port Authority. Now it is getting very popular. So you need to know what is the Paradeep Port and why. The Paradeep Port, also the Paradeep Port Trust or the PPT, is a major seaport, number one, on the eastern coast of India, on the state in the state of Odisha, situated in the confluence of Mahanadi River and the Bay of Bengal. Very, very important. Eastern part located in Odisha at the confluence of Mahanadi River and the Bay of Bengal. It was created in 1966. Paradeep Port is one of the largest ports in India and plays a significant role in the maritime trade of this country. So what is the specialty of Paradeep Port? It can handle cargo, dry, bulk, liquid bulk, containers and general cargo. It can handle different type of cargo. It is makes it a gateway for trade not only for the eastern region of India but also neighboring landlocked countries like Nepal and Bhutan also. This trade route is very important because it's in the eastern part. It's near to Bangladesh and Nepal. You look at the map, you will understand. And what are some of the achievements? The PPA, the Paradeep Port Authority, got a remarkable feature by handling an incredible cargo throughput. It has the cargo throughput has increased in 23-24, and this achievement propelled Paradeep Port to surpass the Deenadayal Port or the Kandla Port, becoming the highest cargo handling major port in the country for the first time in the 56 years of operation. You should see that the throughput has increased, the cargo is increased, and it has surpassed another important port, the Kandla Port, after. So there is even a lot of important things have happened, and see, all these are important values which are not important, but you can definitely see in the next 3 years with the commission of Western Dock project. So we are witnessing the Western Dock project. The Paradeep Port is witnessing the Western Dock project. It can increase the capacity with the coming of Western Dock project. So it's already mechanization and 80% by it is by 2030. The mechanization of the port will be 100%. It will be 100% mechanized port, and it is also having a green ammonia or green hydrogen, positioning itself as a hydrogen hub of the country. So it is even developing a hydrogen hub. So it is the hydrogen hub port. That is a new term. It's a hydrogen hub port in the country. Remember that. And it is also planning to develop a 10 megawatt solar power plant and set up a green refueling station that includes LNG and CNG depot. It is going to have a green refueling station, Paradeep Port. So these are some of the important, the green refueling station, the hydrogen hub port. It's a hydrogen hub port. Very important. It's going to be mechanized by 2030, 100%. So this is Paradeep Port. Know about this. And the next important topic is, what is ISET? Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technology. You can see this is between India and USA. This is between India and USA that we have to remember here. India and United States of America. The Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technology is a collaborative framework between United States and India, designed to enhance, expand their strategic technology partnership. So, number one, this is a strategic technology partnership. This is nothing but a strategic technology partnership. And Defense Industrial Corporation. So it was launched in 2022 by the President Joe Biden and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It aims, what are the aims? Promote the design, development, governance, and use of technology based share democratic values for human rights. So, definitely, it is going to be a strategic technology partnership and defense industrial corporation. That is ISET or ICAT. So what is it? It suppose international collaborations like artificial intelligence collaboration, quantum technology collaboration, advanced wireless through partnership between National Science Foundation and defense, like developing a bilateral defense industrial corporation roadmap. We are going to create a bilateral defense industrial cooperation roadmap. That is the key word. And projects like jet engines, munition related technology. So one is innovation and one is defense. And what about what the other things? Semiconductor. We need to work more on the semiconductor industry between India and US. Space cooperation, like involving training for Indian astronauts at NASA and fostering US India commercial space engagement. Very important. And telecommunications mean development of 5G, 6G technology, and the deployment and adoption of Open RAN in India. So, what is this concept of Open RAN? All of this is the part of ISET. So, please understand this concept of what is ISET or the initiative on critical and emerging technologies. A lot of initiatives, like please remember innovation, defense, semiconductor, space, telecommunication, etc. And moving on to one of the last important topics is, this was in the news, like ECR required. Why do you need an ECR or immigration clearance certificate? Because if you are traveling to some countries, if you're going for employment, your educational degree is important. So let's understand what is ECR. ECR refers to a status, number one, used in Indian passports mandated by the Indian government. So passports with ECR status are issued to Indian citizens who are traveling to certain countries for employment. Number one point, employment, who do not meet certain educational criteria. So definitely Indian passport are traveling to other countries. They are traveling for employment who do not meet certain educational or professional criteria. So the purpose of ECR is to protect workers from being exploited abroad. So we need to, so that is ECR status. So the ECR status is designated for Indians who have not completed their 10th grade of schooling and are traveling to certain countries for work. If you have not cleared the 10th grade of your school and if you're traveling for work or employment, definitely ECR status is important. So when a passport is stamped with ECR status, the holder must obtain an immigration clearance from the protector of immigrants before leaving India. They are informed on their legal rights, the terms and conditions of their employment abroad. So this is very important, the ECR status. So some of the countries, like when you go for employment, like Afghanistan, Bahrain, Indonesia, Iraq, Jordan, Kuwait, Lebanon, Libya, Malaysia, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Sudan, South Sudan, Syria, Thailand, UAE, Yemen. So please check at this. All these are countries in which Indians normally go for employment on a large scale basis. ECR status are included in this. So individuals holding ECR status passports who are traveling to these countries for purpose other than employment do not need this to clear immigration. So that is one important key thing. So who are not going for employment do not need this immigration clearance. Additionally, ECR status can be removed from a passport if the holder can provide that, okay, you have this education qualification, they are traveling for tourism, or see, you can remove this ECR if you have this relevant education qualification, or if you're not going for work, you can visit, or you can go for family, you can go for tourism, etc. This is for the Indian workers who are considered vulnerable due to lack of education or awareness about their rights in foreign countries. That is why you have to visit the, you need to get the ECR status. So that is one very important status that you need to understand. So this is ECR, and now I think we should move on to the next important. Uh, we can go on to the next important topic. Is the map decode. We are ending this session, and let's take a look at the maps here. Yes, there are some countries. So my idea is to give you an idea. India and below. Look at that. You know that there is India. You can take this picture at this thing. You know that there is India. So what is actually marked in this square box? There are countries below India. Let's understand. I'll give you a better idea. So where is Burma? And near Burma, you should know that there is Laos, and there is a border between Burma and China. And so imagine China, then Burma, then Laos, and then you have Thailand. Thailand is this very important area, this island Thailand. So China, you can see China, Burma, Laos, Thailand, and below Thailand you have Malaysia. Very, very important. So China is in one end, below China you have Burma, on the side you have Laos, and below China, Burma, below Burma, Thailand, below Thailand you have Malaysia, and below Malaysia you have Indonesia. So have this map very clear. China, Burma, Laos, you can do like this. China, Burma, Laos, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. That is very important. And apart from Indonesia, on the right hand side, you can see the islands of Philippines. See, apart from small islands like East Timor, or on the right hand side, we can see the Pacific Ocean. You can see the Micronesia states and Palau. There is a place called Palau, or Papua New Guinea. It's a small island country. You can see this. And right to that, you have the Solomon Islands. So always remember China, Burma, Laos, Thailand, then Malaysia, then Indonesia. On the right side, you have Philippines. And look at East Timor. So please remember this thing. This will be very helpful for your preparation. So knowing this map is also very important. And let's take a close look at this. I've already given you an idea on this. Let's take a look at this. Even India. Definitely Sri Lanka is something that you know. And just below Sri Lanka, you can actually take a look at this. You have Maldives or Mali. The Maldives Islands are near this. So we have discussed this. This is Myanmar. And look at this. This is China and this is Myanmar. And you can see on the side, you can see Vietnam, Myanmar, then Thailand. And Thailand there is, and below Thailand there is Cambodia. And Thailand, then there is Malaysia. Then there is Indonesia. And on this side, right of this, you can see Manila or Philippines. There is Philippines. And then there is this Papua New Guinea, this island Papua New Guinea. And there is East Timor on the small islands called East Timor. Palau is also there in this. Please mark it Palau. So let me make it a much more closer image in this. So know about all these things very clearly. So know about Cambodia. Where is South China Sea? Definitely know about the South China Sea. And that is why South China Sea plays a very important. So know about Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, Philippines, Manila, and Myanmar, Thailand, all this. On the other side, you can just look at the right hand side. You can see Macau, place like Macau, Hong Kong, and Taiwan. This is South China Sea. You can see South China Sea. This is, we discuss about the Taiwan Strait crisis. So look at this. All this are very important. So know about Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Philippines islands. Know absolute clarity in all these things. So this is regarding all those concepts. And do check this out, the map, and so have an idea regarding this. And we have already discussed all this concepts. So now we have reached the end of the session. I'm coming with more such important topics. So do stay in touch, and I'll come up with more classes. So thank you so much and keep watching. Do subscribe to our channel, LearnStroke.